Elena's parents, Marie, 65, and Robert, 66, retired and comfortable in their three-story home just 10 minutes away, seem like the perfect support system. They've been through this before. Marie had her own mastectomy years ago, though a different type. They offer help eagerly, shopping for supplies, prepping the house, even hosting Elena for recovery. "We'll make it easier for you," they say over coffee one afternoon, their voices warm, eyes cringling with what Elena mistakes for genuine concern. She pictures it, a cozy guest room, meals prepared without her lifting a finger, the kind of care that mends more than wounds. But here's where the cracks begin to show, subtle at first, like hairline fractures in glass. Elena's always been the peacemaker in the family, the one who apologizes first, who smooths over tensions. Growing up, her parents' home was a place of rigid expectations, dinners on time, emotions bottled up, any sign of vulnerability dismissed as oversensitivity. Marie, with her sharp tongue and need for control, would critique Elena's choices, from her career to her relationships, always framing it as tough love. Robert, more passive, enabled it with his silence, offering half-hearted agreements like, "Your mother's just looking out for you." Elena internalized it all, carrying a quiet burden of never feeling quite good enough. Now, facing surgery, she clings to the hope that this crisis will bring out their best. She plans to recover at her own single-level home, fenced yard for her dog, familiar comforts to ease the pain. But her parents insist. "Our house is better, easier." They repeat it like a mantra, chipping away at her resolve until she caves, agreeing to stay with them for 6 to 8 weeks. It's her first mistake, born from a lifetime of avoiding conflict, but it sets the stage for the emotional gauntlet ahead. The stakes are high. Elena stands to lose not just physical mobility, restricted arm movement, no driving, dependence on others, but her mental health. In those prep months, she feels the weight of it all, the fear of complications, the grief over her body changing forever. Her parents' offers feel like a lifeline. Little does she know they're about to yank it away. The escalation begins innocently enough, but it snowballs into a series of humiliations that erode Elena's trust like acid on metal. First, the Costco saga, a seemingly simple task that reveals their flakiness. 2.5 months before surgery, Elena compiles a list of 12 essentials: compression bras, soft pillows, easy-to-eat foods, items recommended by survivors online, tailored to her procedure, not her mother's old one. She asks Robert, who's offered to help, to pick them up before their leisurely 3.5-week Italy cruise. He agrees cheerfully, but days before departure, he calls from Costco. "I don't feel like doing a big shop right now. We'll handle it after the trip." Elena's stomach twists, a mix of disappointment and forced understanding. She bites her tongue, tasting the bitter tang of swallowed words. They return from Italy, tanned and rested, but weeks pass with excuses. Jet-lagged, they say. Then another call. "We probably have leftovers from your mom's surgery. Check with her." Elena, already juggling work and pre-op appointments, feels the frustration building, a tight coil in her chest. Why can't they just check themselves? They're in the house with the items. 2 weeks before surgery, at a family dinner, she inventories it herself, right there in their kitchen, pulling dusty boxes from cabinets while they chat about their vacation photos. She hands Robert an updated list. "This weekend," he promises, his eyes avoiding hers. He doesn't go. A week out, he finally shops and texts, "Got everything." Relief floods Elena, but it's short-lived. 5 days before surgery, at their holiday party, she discovers he's only bought a third of the items. "You didn't need the rest," he shrugs, as if deciding for her. Panic surges. Her hands shake as she orders the essentials online, knowing some won't arrive until after surgery. The inconvenience is real. Discomfort, added stress, all because of his arbitrary judgment. But this is just the appetizer. Issue 2, the house preparations, a promise that evaporates like morning mist. The agreement for Elena staying with them hinges on them helping deep clean her home, setting it up for her eventual return, winter-proofing faucets against freezes while it's empty. They'd pack and move her things too, all before the final weekend for low-stress days pre-op. Post-cruise, excuses pile up. Too tired, too many social events. Marie promises to come clean, then ghosts. Elena, alone in her house, scrubs floors on her knees, arms aching from the effort, sweat stinging her eyes. She thinks if they wanted to, they would. Two retired people 10 minutes away. How hard is it to show up? The resentment simmers, a low burn in her gut, but she pushes it down, focusing on survival. Then the move, a farce of misdirection. They agree to help with the first load that Saturday. Cancelled. Sunday? Only 10 to 10:30 a.m., sandwiched between their holiday mansion tour, lunch, and bar plans. Elena, exhausted, tells them not to bother. Nothing's packed because she's been cleaning solo. Her voice cracks on the phone, but she hangs up before tears fall. The pattern is clear, offers without follow-through, leaving her scrambling, vulnerable. These incidents aren't isolated, they're a crescendo of cruelty, each one chipping at Elena's dignity. Marie's condescension drips like venom. "You're overreacting," she'd say, her lips curling in that familiar smirk. Robert's passivity enables it, his shrugs a silent betrayal. Elena feels gaslit, questioning if she's too demanding, too sensitive, an echo of her childhood where her feelings were always histrionic. The psychological toll mounts, sleepless nights, a constant knot in her throat, the fear that this surgery will break her, not physically, but emotionally under their thumb. The turning point hits like a thunderclap. 5 days pre-op, Elena voices her resentment. "You've offered help but haven't followed through. I'm scrambling because of it." Marie's response is a masterclass in deflection. "I'm sorry you feel that way. We've created such a helpful environment." She pivots to irrelevancies. "We decorated for Christmas." Elena tries again, but Marie escalates. "I'm the worst mother, okay? Is that what you want?" The words hang heavy, inflammatory barbs that twist the knife. Elena hangs up, heart racing, palms slick. Texts flood in, non-apologies blaming her. "Sorry we didn't move Sunday, you told us not to," ignoring months of failures. In that moment, alone in her dim living room, Elena breaks. The air feels thick, oppressive. Her chest tightens like a vice. She remembers being 9, belittled for crying over a scolding, voiceless and small. But now, a shift ignites, from despair to resolve. If this is how they handle conflict pre-surgery, she thinks, I can't be vulnerable there. It's not spite, it's self-pretension. She decides, recover at home. She'll build her own network, friends for check-ins, a dog walker, rearranged counters for independence. The plan forms in her mind like a blueprint, meticulous and empowering, no more enabling their control. The revenge isn't flashy. It's a slow, calculated reclamation of power, born from patience and precision. 48 hours before surgery, Elena acts. She calls friends. "Can you stay the first night?" One agrees, her voice a balm over the line. Others commit to revolving visits, meals, light chores, emotional check-ins. She hires a dog walker every other day, budgeting carefully despite the strain. In her house, she rearranges everything. Essentials at counter height, no overhead reaches. Her hands, still steady then, move with purpose, stacking pillows, prepping meals. Late nights blur, coffee cooling beside her as she lists risks, potential isolation, pain management alone, but the alternative? Emotional peril in her parents' domain where empathy is absent and control reigns. She informs them calmly, "I'll recover at home. It feels emotionally unsafe with you right now, but you're welcome to visit every other day." The words taste like freedom, a quiet defiance. No yelling, just boundaries. Her first true act of adult autonomy against their lifelong dynamic. Their reaction? Explosive, but Elena holds firm, her resolve steeling like forged metal.
The confrontation unfolds in waves, a symphony of exposed truths. They lash out. Selfish, cruel, you're endangering yourself. Marie accuses Elena of manipulation, histrionics, echoes of old wounds. You're making our lives harder, Robert adds, as if her surgery is their burden. They insist she's hurting them on purpose, demanding she stop being an asshole and let us help. But Elena stands unyielding, her voice steady despite the storm. They feign agreement to daily visits, but the day before surgery, Marie flips. My therapist says I can set boundaries. I'll only help if you move in. When Elena refuses, Marie declares, seeing you is too painful because of what you're doing to me. A melodramatic twist, mishearing emotionally unsafe as physical danger. Driving to the hospital, Robert piles on. You're causing us unimaginable pain with your stubbornness. You can't imagine what you're doing to us. Elena in the passenger seat feels the words like slaps, but inside, a spark of triumph. Their meltdown validates everything, their narcissism laid bare. Post-surgery, they rescind all help, stonewalling. Even a post-op appointment? Robert wants it rescheduled for his Tai Chi and golf. But Elena? She's thriving in her sanctuary, friends orbiting like guardians. The parents' isolation is self-inflicted, their arrogance crumbling into confusion, then denial. We've done so much. Rage, accusations flying, and finally, humiliated defeat, cut off by their own refusal to adapt. Elena's face in recovery softens not with joy alone, but a profound release, relief washing over her like cool rain, validation blooming in her chest, closure sealing old scars, justice served cold and earned. In the end, true justice isn't always loud. Sometimes it's the quiet act of walking away, forcing the betrayers to face their reflections. Karma here? It's the cost of their cruelty, a relationship fractured by their own hands. Elena's journey reminds us that dignity reclaimed is the sweetest victory, even if it comes with a price. If this story showed you how patience can dismantle even the deepest betrayals, smash that like button and drop in the comments. What was the moment that truly shattered the parents' facade? And of course, subscribe for more deep dive tales of justice and resilience every week. Don't miss out on the next one.